Hey, everybody, it's David Rains, host of All Access Chat, and super happy to have you here. We're bringing you our latest episode today. You're not going to want to miss this one. This is an All Access Chat behind the scenes in a way you've never seen before. And if you like what you see here, make sure you hit your subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications, because we got lots more content coming your way, and you don't want to miss out on a single episode. If you like what you see as well, share it with your friend, because I'm sure you have friends who would be interested in seeing the content that you enjoy as well. Don't forget as well, in the link to the video, there is all kinds of links to our guest social media accounts. So you're not going to want to miss that, and you're going to want to follow them as well. They'll be happy to have you, as we are. Thanks very much. Now let's get right to the episode. We are joined by a very special artist and an amazing talent who's quickly making a big splash in the Canadian music industry. Welcome, Naya Ali, to the show. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm blessed. How are you, David?
Great. Thanks so much. Let's start off at the beginning. So how did you decide to become an artist out of Montreal, Canada?
Well, I mean, I guess, music has always been a little bit of a passion of mine, one of my first loves. But growing up, I didn't really think you can make a career out of it or anything like that. So I really focused on other things, but I kept it, as a form of therapy. So every time I, needed to let out some things or express myself, I would go back to it. But I always knew there was a different way to live. I went to school, I did all that, the 9-to-5 thing, but I knew that there was always something missing. And I was always looking for that $1 million idea. Even when I was in college, like I was involved with a bunch of startups and stuff, like a lot of tech stuff, but, it just didn't work out. It didn't pan out. But, long story short, I realized that, the $1 million idea I was looking for all that time was actually within myself. So I decided to take that energy and focus it into myself 100%. And that's when, things started opening up for me, and I really saw it as my life path.
Nice. So it's only been a few years since you kind of, and I'll say, smashed the doors open. I think that's a kind of an interesting analogy for you. You've been referred to as the female Drake. I mean, that's a pretty big comparison. Fair comparison. How do you feel about being compared to him in the same conversation?
I mean, it's an honor. Drake is a phenomenal artist. It's undeniable. But at the end of the day, I'm Naya, he's Drake. I will never be Drake,
Yep.
He'll never be Naya, just as anyone will never be someone else, right? I'm true to myself, and I know what I can bring to the table and who I am as an artist. At the end of the day, yes, it is an honor, but I don't let it get to my head at all, because it's far from the truth.
So growing up, who were some of your musical influences, and who do you look at today as thinking about, who influenced you the most, musically and in life as well?
Well, like musically, I've, a few artists, but like for different reasons. Like, for example, Kanye West for me is, he's like my reference for almost everything visual, innovative, pushing boundaries, creating universes as an artist. I think you can see that a lot in my visuals too. There's a lot of sense of purpose and, a greater universe to it. J. Cole just always keeps me on the tip of my toes. Like I listen to him like, oh damn, okay, I need to come harder. You know what I mean? Like it's just, lyric wise, and as a person, like the way he's just laid back, and, that I see a lot of myself in him actually. Okay. Who else? Lauryn Hill, definitely growing up. She was, she made me fall in love with hip hop and rap, actually. Yeah. So who else? Muhammad Ali as a person. I'm just trying to think of the tip of my head right now. There's definitely a bunch of people.
No, that's great. Some big influences there for sure, and you can see a lot of those influences in your music and in your videos as well. So hey, earlier this year, you were a finalist in CBC's Music Searchlight. Take us through that process and tell us about what that was like for you.
I mean, hey, it's phenomenal to be, to be recognized at home here in Canada, Mm-hmm. Just being a finalist in that is, it's already an honor in itself. To see that, to see that, you know, the nation sees me as one of the next ones to come up in the country. Yeah.
Well, and then a pretty big award after that as well, the Anglophone Artist of the Year award in Quebec. I know that's a huge thing. Take us through that one as well. What does that one mean to you?
Right. I mean, the Anglophone Artist of the Year, that was for Gala, the Dynasty Gala, you know. That was, you know, it was phenomenal. I mean, hey, it's weird for me because you really think about awards, you know, when I'm in it until I, you know, get nominated and stuff, and I'm just like, wow, okay, so people are actually recognizing it. It's an honor and it's a blessing. But again, at the end of the day, that's not the goal. That's not the, you know. It's nice to be recognized, but you know, it's never the goal and the purpose of it all.
So there's, you know, people that might look at you and say, listen, you've only been in the game a couple of years and you've reached this level of success already. Wow, you kind of like an overnight success. What do you have to say to people like that?
That's crazy because it's like, you know, the whole term overnight success does not exist, you know. Yes, things have moved pretty fast for me, you know, in the last couple of years, but it took me my whole life to be that person to enable this to happen so fast. So basically it took me, you know, over 20 something years to be the person, you know, to go through the trials, to go through the circumstances, to learn life lessons, to, you know, to discover myself as an artist, to craft, to hone my craft. It's a skill, you know. Everyone, you know, let's call a spade. Like when you start off, no one is good. You know, you might have a talent, a potential, but to really, you know, you have to craft your skill and like pick at it consistently. So that's the truth behind it all.
Oh, that's great. And great advice. What advice do you have for young people who are looking to get into the music industry at this point? You know, someone who's looking at you as kind of that role model. What do you have to say to them?
Wow. I'd say the first thing is to ask yourself why. Why do you want to get into it? Why do you want to make music? Do you want to make music for yourself? Or do you want to make music that can change people's lives and have a purpose? You know? So it's really about self-discovery, you know, figuring yourself out as a person and as an artist and where you want to go. And if that's something that you really want to do, then you have to invest 100% into it, just like a startup. You know, you have to put your money where your mouth is. You have to make sure everything is done on a level of excellence, you know, because the bar is pretty high. And, you know, visually, you know, brand wise, marketing wise, you have to be on your toes, and you have to be involved in it. You can't just, you know, expect everybody to just do it for you and you just make music, you know. I mean, you can do that, but that's a really easy way to get pulled and taken into different directions. You know, but if you know what you want and if you know where you're going and you'll have the right team to help you push you to where you want to be, that's the best thing. So really, first of all, know yourself, know where you want to go, what are you talking about, and how it can impact people's lives.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how did you go about putting together the team you have around you? I mean, obviously a team's a very important thing, as you just mentioned. So how do you find those people and put them together as, you know, this team that you've got now behind you?
Oh, honestly, it's just the way it sounds wild, but it's true. It's just the universe that placed them in my way because I had the mindset and I had the energy for it. You know what I mean? If it was, I couldn't have done this 4 or 5 years ago. You know, I wouldn't have been the same person to attract these type of people. So you have to get your mindset right. You have to get your focus right, and then the right people will gravitate, and you will have the discernment to know what's you know, who's there for you for real and who's not.
So you've got some new music coming out. I assume that the pandemic has forced a lot of change upon you know, many musicians. I'm sure you're no different. And how much of the new music has been created during the pandemic? How much of that was before? And let's get into it.
Well, I just released my first single off of the second half of the album that's going to come and complete it.
Yep.
That record was done like last year, you know, so that was done pre. But I'm currently working on, you know, the rest of the album, and that's during the pandemic. This is like right now.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. It's just I mean, that's the beauty of being with being an artist, is that, you know, there isn't a constant, like, your art is reflective of life. So if this is the situation, then you can't fight it and be like, okay, no, I'll wait until this is over. No, you have to roll with it, and it changes, you know, I don't know, me personally, you know, I actually went a few weeks ago, no, a month ago or so, I went to Toronto, and, you know, we started the records there in Toronto.
Mhm.
So, you know, that was a change for me, you know, a change of environments, a change of sounds, a change of, you know, a change of just a little bit of a change. But yeah, it was just important for me to challenge myself in different ways,
Sure.
especially that I had the time.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
you say that, you know, things are a little bit different in Toronto sound wise. What do you think? How does that differ? And what's the difference between, you know, Montreal to Toronto to Vancouver, anywhere else across Canada?
Mm. Well, Toronto has a very distinct sound. You know, it's very vibey. It's just, you just hear it. I don't know how to explain it. It has that sound that it's recognizable, just like, you know, just like the South has a sound, just like New York has a sound, Toronto has a sound. Montreal's not there quite yet, to have its own sound. But I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it's gonna get there. But like the Toronto sound, I just thought it was just super, you know, it's super dope and interesting. And I wanted to tap into that and challenge myself into, you know, taking a bit of that and putting some, you know, Montreal sauce on it and see what we come up with. Yeah.
Gotcha. What's been your biggest challenge personally through this pandemic situation?
Oh man, I mean, a lot of things, like, you know, it's reality, you know. Just as an artist, you know, when I released the first half of the album, like, we were ready to like tour Europe. You know, we had South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. We had, you know, this whole plan, you know, and that was just, you know, everything was just stopped, you know.
Mhm.
And there was a moment of, you know, you have to grieve it, you know, you have to grieve it, but then you know, there's no choice but to buck up and recalibrate and do things differently with the circumstances, with the hands given. Yeah.
And have you been able to use any social media and connect with your fans? I know there's a lot of artists have been doing those kind of live streams or Instagram chats, that kind of thing with the fans. Have you done any of those?
Yeah, I've done it in the beginning, right when it started, like was April or March.
Yep.
Yeah, I've done a bit of those. We you know, we gave a lot of game. You know, I had one with my manager, and we talked about how, you know, how we did the moves that we made and all that. I had one with my creative director. How do we create the universes and all that? But you know, then after it's just like, okay, I don't have anything else to talk about. I'm not gonna do it live just to do it live. So
Yeah.
So I stopped.
Yeah, I think it's been a very interesting time in the industry. I think from the fans' perspective, they maybe feel a little more connected to the artists.
Right.
And the artists too, I think, you know, there's probably that level of connection to the audience that maybe is a little bit different from a performance.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see how things will change. What do you think's in store for the music industry once this pandemic situation starts to calm?
Oh, I mean, once the situation starts to calm a little bit and gets back to normal somewhat, I think it's going to be the most beautiful thing. You know, people are, you know, they need it. They're going to need music more than ever.
Yeah.
And just that moment, I think we're going to appreciate it a lot more too. Just being together, being in festivals, doing shows, connecting with people. That's the best way. And you know, I think it's going to be the most beautiful thing. And I'm sure we're going to, you know, take advantage of every moment and make it worthwhile.
Where's the first place you want to play when you're able to do a live show? Where's that first show happen?
Where's the first place? I was so stoked to go to Europe, Switzerland, actually.
Okay.
I was so stoked to go to Switzerland. And South by Southwest, actually, that was one of my dreams. Like, even, you know, when I was in college and stuff, just to go to South by Southwest. I think that one for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hopefully that comes true in 2021. I think, you know, it looks like there's maybe some bright light on the horizon here. That's not a freight train coming at us in 2021. So hopefully we'll be able to get back to somewhat normal, whatever that's going to look like as we go forward. But certainly looking forward to seeing you live back when we're able to. Best luck with all the new music, and please keep in touch, and you know, we'll chat further when you've got some new stuff that's ready to come out again.
Absolutely, appreciate it.